Hello, little dreamers, and welcome to our story time. Are you all snuggled up and ready for a magical adventure? Tonight, we're traveling to a faraway kingdom to hear a very special tale. This is the story of the princess who never smiled. Once upon a time, in a grand castle with towers that echoed the clouds, lived a king and a queen. They had a daughter, Princess Aurelia, who was as lovely as a spring morning. She had eyes like sparkling sapphires and the hair like spun gold. But there was one thing that made the whole kingdom sad. Princess Aurelia never, ever smiled, not even a tiny little grin. Her parents, the king and the queen, tried everything to bring a smile to her face. They brought her the fluffiest kittens and the most playful puppies. They hired the funniest clowns in the land, who juggled and tumbled and told silly jokes. They even had a chef bake a cake as tall as a person, filled with every sweet treat imaginable. But no matter what they did, Princess Aurelia would just look at them with her beautiful, serious eyes and say, "Thank you, but I do not feel like smiling." The king was so worried. He made a royal proclamation. He declared that whoever could make Princess Aurelia smile would be rewarded with a great treasure. Soon, people from all over the world came to the castle. A musician played the most cheerful tunes on his violin. A magician pulled a whole garden of flowers from his hat. And a storyteller told tales of brave knights and the mischievous fairies. Princess Aurelia listened politely to the music, watched the magic tricks, and heard all the stories. She thanked each person kindly, but her face remained as still and serious as a calm lake. The king and the queen began to lose hope. It seemed nothing in the world could make their daughter happy. One sunny afternoon, a young man named Leo arrived at the castle gates. He wasn't a prince or a magician. He was a simple gardener's son, with dirt under his fingernails and a kind heart. He didn't carry any fancy gifts or have a clever trick up his sleeve. All he brought was a small, plain-looking seed in his pocket. When he was brought before the princess, he didn't bow low or make a grand speech. He just looked at her with gentle eyes and sighed, "Your Highness, I heard you have never smiled. I don't have jokes or jewels, but I have this. It's a seed." Princess Aurelia looked at the tiny seed in his hand. It was brown and ordinary. "A seed?" she asked, her voice quiet. "Yes," Leo sighed. "It's a mystery seed. No one knows what it will grow into. It could be a flower, a funny-shaped vegetable, or maybe even a tree that sings. But it will only grow if someone cares for it every single day. Would you like to try?" For the first time, a flicker of curiosity appeared in the princess's eyes. No one had ever asked her to do something, to care for something. They had only ever tried to entertain her. "Yes," she whispered. "I would." Leo gave her a small pot filled with soil and he showed her how to plant the seed. "It needs a little water each morning," he explained, "and a spot where it can feel the warm sun." So, every day, Princess Aurelia took care of her little seed. She made sure it had just enough water, not too much and not too little. She would move the pot around her balcony to follow the sun. She would talk to it, telling it about her day in the quiet castle. She wondered and wondered what it would become. Days turned into weeks. One morning, she saw something amazing. A tiny green sprout was pushing its way out of the soil. It was so small and delicate, but it was alive. A strange feeling fluttered in Aurelia's chest, a feeling she had never felt before. It was a little spark of excitement. She watched her sprout grow taller and stronger each day. 2 little leaves unfurled, then 4. She couldn't wait to wake up each morning to see how much it had grown. The plant became her little secret, her special friend. Leo would visit the castle gardens to tend to the roses, and sometimes he would see the princess on her balcony, gazing at her little green plant. He would wave, and she would give him a small, polite nod. Finally, one day, a bud appeared on the top of the plant. It was small and tightly closed. Aurelia was filled with anticipation. What color would it be? What would it smell like? For days, she watched the bud swell and grow. Then, one glorious morning, the bud began to open. Petal by petal, it unfolded. It wasn't a rose or a lily. It was the strangest, funniest looking flower she had ever seen. It had bright orange petals that stuck straight up, a funny purple center, and long, curly green leaves that looked like a silly mustache. It looked like it was laughing right at her. Princess Aurelia stared at the flower. It was so goofy, so unexpected, so wonderfully silly. A little giggle escaped her lips. It was a tiny sound, like the tinkling of a small bell. Then, another giggle followed, a little louder this time. She looked at the funny flower with its silly mustache leaves, and she couldn't help it. A beautiful, radiant smile spread across her face, lighting up her eyes like the sunrise. It was the most wonderful smile the kingdom had ever seen. At that moment, Leo the gardener's son happened to be walking by. He looked up and he saw her. He didn't say anything about the reward. He just smiled back. Tucking and the queen rushed to the balcony when they heard her laughter. They saw their daughter smiling, truly smiling, for the very first time. Their hearts filled with so much joy they could barely speak. Tucking offered Leo the promised treasure, but Leo shook his head. Seeing the princess happy is the only reward he need. He sighed. He knew that true happiness isn't something you can be given, like a toy or a cake. It's something that grows inside you when you care for something, when you watch something beautiful come to life. From that day on, Princess Aurelia was no more longer the princess who never smiled. She laughed and giggled often. She and Leo became the best of friends, and together they filled the castle gardens with the most amazing and unusual plants. And the princess learned that the greatest joy of all comes from nurturing something with your own hands and watching it grow. And so, my little dreamers, as you drift off to sleep, remember Princess Aurelia. Remember that happiness can be found in the smallest of things, in a tiny seed, in a funny flower, and in the kindness we show to others. Thank you for joining me for this story. I hope it brought a little smile to your face, too. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more magical bedtime stories. Sleep tight, and have the sweetest of dreams. Good night.